The OnePlus 10T is an excellent cell phone with premium form quality, an extraordinary showcase, top-level execution, and madly quick charging speeds. At $649 divided by £629 divided by €699 divided by 44,999 rupees, it's additionally one of the most amazing worth top-of-the-line telephones with Qualcomm's strong and power-productive Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1 chipset. It's the initial time in OnePlus T telephone is being sold close by the more seasoned model while likewise bearing a close indistinguishable plan. However, the two telephones have a considerable amount of contrast under their hoods. Fortunately, the OnePlus 10T is a great telephone, yet it battles to legitimize its cost given the presence of the organization's own Nord 2T, which has similar back cameras, performs well for a mid-officer, and costs much less. Design: no ready slider, unibody plan, Gorilla Glass 5. You'd be excused for confusing the OnePlus 10T with the more seasoned OnePlus 10 Master given their very much like looking back plate. On the 10T, the camera module has 4 particular rings with 3 camera focal points joined by a round streak in the upper right position. I could have done without the gander from the get-go, yet it has developed on me, similar as the green tone of my jade green survey test has. Its lustrous completion made of Gorilla Glass 5 in a split second gets fingerprints, however makes the telephone grippier, and is done off with gleaming silver side rails, which are plastic rather than metal. It's a gorgeous, extraordinary inclination telephone despite the fact that it slides off level surfaces, incorporating tables with the smallest pride. A case is expected to keep away from influence catastrophe. The camera knock merges into the unibody outline flawlessly without any creases. However, I suspect the matte completion of the option Moonstone Dark model would better avoid fingerprints and allure more to most variety-mindful cell phone purchasers. Profoundly missed on the 10T is OnePlus' unmistakable ready slider. The little 3-position switch that changes a significant number of the organization's different telephones from ring to vibrate to quiet, and has been available on the entirety of its leads as of not long ago, including 2022's 10 Expert and mid-range Nord 2T. OnePlus says it left it off the 10T as the part occupies room inside the gadget, which would have needed to have been thicker and greater to oblige it, as well as a huge 2-cell battery, the organization favoring the last option. Apple puts a 2-position quiet switch on the entirety of its iPhones, yet no other Android producers have such an equipment switch, and it's a disgrace it's not on the 10T. Display and sound: 6, 7 and level OLED, 120Hz, sound system speakers. The screen on the OnePlus 10T is quite possibly of the best thing about it. It's a 6, 7 and FHD plus OLED board with a 120Hz invigorate rate, and it is sensational. It's a preferable looking board over the standard Cosmic System S22. OnePlus truly knows how to tune its presentation. It's likewise a level presentation, so the edges are not bended and don't tighten away at the left and right edges as they do on the OnePlus 10 Expert. The poke hole selfie camera is quite in the middle at the top out of the blue on and OnePlus telephone. Colors are distinctive and lively as we've generally expected from first-in-class OnePlus telephone, and the 120Hz rate implies menus and movements are sublimely liquid. The telephone can change between 60Hz, 90Hz, and 120Hz relying upon how you're saving battery duration. However, the 10 Expert and iPhone 13 Master can downsize this the entire way to 1Hz and 10Hz individually for shockingly better productivity. Specs and execution: Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1, up to 16GB SLAM, 128 or 256GB capacity. The OnePlus 10T is bursting quick. It has the Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1 chipset, which is fundamentally an overclocked 8 Gen 1, the processor found in the OnePlus 10 Star, Sony Xperia 1 IV, Vivo X80s, Universe S22 Ultra, and a few other top-of-the-line Android telephones. In GFX Seats exhibition tests we run on each telephone we audit, the 10T scored among the best scores we've at any point seen, hitting 59 FPS or 60 FPS for each test, 60 FPS being the most elevated conceivable score. However, it scored somewhat lower on Geekbench's multi-center computer chip test than the OnePlus 10 Expert and 2021's 9-star besides, which in my book shows 2 things. That the perceptible additions in versatile processors are unquestionably negligible at the top end and are difficult to gauge, and that benchmark numbers just recount to you a portion of the story. Battery and charging: 4800 mAh, 150W wired charging, 16.0 cycle guarantee, Close by its lightning pace, the OnePlus 10T is honored with 150W wired charging. A little move forward on the 10 Genius now sublime 80W velocities. However, truly the thing that matters is negligible in charging times. The think twice about the 10T is that it doesn't have remote charging. OnePlus guarantees the 10T's battery will hold somewhere around 80% limit after 16 charge cycles. This is a similar commitment found with the Oppo Trackdown X5 Ace, and is twofold the business ongoing norm of 800 cycles. However, this isn't utilized in the telephone's customer advertising. It's unobtrusively one of the 10T's best elements, if precise. In the event that you charge your telephone one time per day, 16 cycles is around 4 1/3 years, a nice lump of time for your battery to stay in an ideal condition. The reality of the situation will come out at some point on the off chance that this commitment conveys. Camera and video. Extraordinary 50MP primary sensor. Second-rate ultra-wide and full scale. Same focal points as OnePlus Nord 2T. OnePlus has held back on the camera specs for the 10T contrasted with the 10 Star, and nor does it have the Hasselblad camera marking of that telephone. Truth be told, it has similar 3-back sensors as the OnePlus Nord 2T, a telephone that retails for £369 divided by €399 yet isn't available to be purchased in the US. In this way, the 10T has a 50MP divided by 1.8 Sony IMX766 primary wide-point sensor with optical picture adjustment, which is usually utilized on mid-reach and leader Android telephones including the Nord 2T and Trackdown X5 Star. BBK Gathering should have a ton of the sensors lying around. OnePlus says it has changed the optics contrasted with the Nord 2T, yet it is a similar sensor. Programming and updates. Ships with Android 12. 3 years Android refreshes. 4 years security refreshes. We should focus a light on the obvious issue at hand. OnePlus Oxygeno's programming has changed emphatically lately, and is fundamentally now equivalent to Oppo's Coloros bar a few minor stylish changes. BBK Gathering, which possesses the two brands, chose to consolidate the two, so presently Oxygeno's appears to be a great deal unique to how it did even quite a while back. This shouldn't imply that it's a general terrible thing, yet there is a sure person to the more established form of Oxygeno's that is inadequate with regards to now. Be that as it may, it's senseless to survey a telephone in view of what it might have been like, so I'll stop. Oxygeno's 12.1 in view of Android 12 is perfect. It generally keeps out the way yet prompts you to consent to numerous assertions of use when you first tap on framework applications or different programming choices. I needed to tinker with the truly customizable skin for a days to change it to my inclinations. Things like symbol shape, size, complement tones, show and text dimensions, and so on, yet presently it feels perfect and exceptionally private. Most other Android telephones with Android 12 get around their absence of actual quiet switch or ready slider by showing whether the telephone is in ring, vibrate, or quiet with 3 distinct symbols permitting you to rapidly switch modes at whatever point the volume buttons are pushed. Maddeningly, this isn't true on the 10T, and you can switch between one or the other ring and vibrate, or ring and quiet. I just worked out how to switch between those two choices with experimentation. These controls are too tangled, intensified by the absence of ready slider. You can likewise just switch between 2 ring modes as opposed to 3 in the swipe down fast setting, which is not normal for most other current Android telephones. A criticize maybe, yet for me it was an enormous irritation to not have the option to effortlessly change between the 3 modes. There's a completely highlighted consistently in plain view that holds a portion of OnePlus conventional appeal. However, finding things in the settings menu can be a piece tedious as choices are concealed all around the shop.